Thanks for the support as a channel member, Owen Herterick. Yes, I know we've already spent £70 million on 2 Wonderkids for this summer. Yeah, I know we're moving back into a newly expanded new home of football. Yeah, training facilities, youth facilities, it's all state of the art. I get all that. I understand there's been a lot of investment made in this football club. But if I could have like 60 million to spend on more players, I'm not going to be at Mrs Wearmouth. Hello and welcome to part 112 of Homegrown. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review and transfer special at the end of our 3rd season in the Premier League. And that's where we pick things up straight away with our end of season review. As you can see, no trophies this season, much sadness. But we did secure a 2nd successive top half finish in the Premier League. And that is definitely a thing to be celebrated. This is a weird one. Nathan Wally has won signing of the season, but the board are very disappointed with the deal. We got an E because his player wage is too high for his place in the squad. He broke into the team in the second half of that season. Looks like he's going to be awesome. That's why he won signing of the season. But I guess they're still considering that we spent too much money on him, which is weird when we spent more money on Cameron Little, who only got into the team right at the end of the season when I started playing the reserves. But apparently, did we get an E? We got a B- for him. We're pleased to see the minimum release clause of £21.5 million would mean an excellent deal for the club. It wouldn't. It'd mean a £3.5 million profit. That is an indication that we probably need to up his release clause a little bit this summer with a new contract. I think we already knew Oliveira had become a Brazilian Wonderkid, and everyone else is as you would expect, really. Season results, we were supposed to battle bravely against relegation for the 3rd season in a row, but in the end finish in the top half for the 2nd season in a row, 9th place finish, 53% capacity at Leicester's ground, but the new home of football has a capacity of 19,500. So if we get the same attendances next year, we'll be like 80% full in there, 90% full. And to be honest, being back in Peterborough rather than Leicester, I would expect a bump in attendances. So it might be that we're immediately maxing out the new home of football again when we move back into it. Ali Bassett got top scorer. He's not a striker. He was our top scorer last year. And Mrs Wearmouth's given me a B+ for the year, which I am very happy with. There we are, finishing 2 goals above Slam Dunks Birmingham. He's going to be a problem. He's going to take over for me at this club one day. I can sense it. I just hope it's at the end of my career after I've achieved everything I wanted to achieve. I don't think we were a 3.5 star. It says previous reputation 3.5, current 3.5. I'm certain we were a 3-star reputation club before, and maybe that's changed mid-season, which is why suddenly we've been able to tick over into bringing in the Wonderkids, which if you haven't already seen them in the last couple of episodes, you'll be able to meet very shortly. We do have a couple of Wonderkids coming in. Money-wise, sponsorship is up slightly. Broadcast revenue, oddly, is down slightly, and I'm not really sure why. Corporate hospitality up a little bit. Competition prize money, pretty much the same as it was the year before because we finished in the same league position. And match day revenue down ever so slightly. Shirt-wise, the real fans, as in the fans in the game rather than the comments section, they love Ali Bassett. For the 2nd year in a row, our striker has sold more shirts than anybody else. Even more than Sir Harrison Davis in his final season at the club, unless he stays this summer, which he might do. Hodgkinson, Fazekas and Curry also shifting significant shirts as well. That's your new wave of players coming through. Ali Bassett and Fazekas, Davis, Hodgkinson and Curry are all heading towards the ends of their home careers now, all either 30 or very nearly there and coming towards the end, even Hodgkinson. And this was the team of the season. Williams in goal, a back four, Abagai, Fazekas, Anderson and Perisato. I mean, it didn't always take that shape. Sometimes Perisato would be left back, Abagai would be right back, Anderson played right back occasionally. It was very much shuffled around, but I think on balance, they were probably our 4 best defenders of the year. Zapata getting ahead of Passotti is a surprising one. He only started 17 games. I certainly favoured Passotti there more than Zapata. Then Christian and Hodgkinson in midfield. Richardson and Wally further forward and Ali Bassett up front. Surprised to see no Oliveira anywhere in that team. And once again, Ali Bassett, not a striker, but does get him the team of the year in that role, despite many other players getting the opportunity to play there. This is an interesting one. Fans Player of the Year, Jörn Anderson. That's a first Fans Player of the Year for Anderson. Also winning Young Player of the Year. We've got Fazekas and Abagai, who were supposed to be our centre-back partnership for many years to come, it looks like Jørn Andersen is absolutely forcing his way in ahead of either of them, and they're going to have to fit around him. It's yet another example of why we are nearing the end for Sir Harrison Davies, though we have got a lot of very talented centre-backs at the club. Wally, as we know, signing of the season, goal of the season went to Anderson. I'm pretty sure that's for that free kick we saw him score in a video. Top goal scorer is Ali Basic. Our top goal scorer next year needs more than 12 goals, that's for sure. Kenlin Anderson, most assists with 8. Kenlin Richardson. Did I say Kenlin Anderson? Kenlin Richardson with 8. Jørn Andersen, most man of the matches. The bin men, they've not featured in the videos for ages. They've finally found the new house. Rejoice. Anderson got top average rating as well, and most pass completion was for Zapata. Oh, wow. Jørn Andersen has also won the English Players Young Player of the Year award. What a season for Jørn Andersen. And Harrison Davies, right at the end of the year there, extending his own record for most league appearances, 412 league appearances for the club. And I think that's probably where he taps out. It'll be interesting to see if anyone ever beats that record. Ordinarily, I'd say probably not. But with Alex Williams still only in his mid-20s and probably already more than halfway there, it really depends on how good Tristan McDonald ends up being. If Williams ends up being our forever goalkeeper, he is probably going to beat that record, as you would expect for a goalkeeper who became first choice for the club at 17, 18 years old, and only had that 1 year away. I know Davies was in from 16, but for the last couple of years, he's not been a regular starter, and defenders don't last as long as goalkeepers. Williams at 30 could still do another 5, 6, 7 years. If we get to that point, we still don't know. McDonald might be the one. We're going to have a look at him when he comes back in from his loan later on in this video. So our all-time best 11, Ali Basic has now made it into that, which is lovely to see. And we've now shifted to the 4-2-3-1. And we've usually had the 4-2-4 in the all-time best 11, which we used in non-league for a long time. We've now shifted to another previous tactics. We don't use this one anymore, but it does allow Connor Roberts to make it into the all-time best 11, which I'm sure you lot will all love. So Williams in goal, a back four of Eli Campbell, who's now playing for Monterrey in Mexico. What an unusual career this man has had. Released by Everton, drops down into non-league, makes his way all the way back up to the Championship, then has to drop back down again, but makes it back to the Championship again, hits the MLS for 3 years, and is now playing for one of the biggest clubs in Mexico. What a career Eli Campbell has had. Shea Charles in at centre-back, he's still at Wimbledon. He's been there a little while now, playing regularly for them in League One. He's alongside Sir Harrison Davies and Nathan Curry. Hodgkinson in midfield alongside Micah Hamilton, who is now an older shot on loan from Motherwell. He never really made it at Motherwell. They're mad for spending all the money they did on him, but I'm glad they did. We needed the money at the time. And then in midfield, in attacking midfield, you've got Terrell Whitaker, who's still at Blackpool and still scoring reasonably regularly down in League Two. Connor Roberts, who's now made it to Crewe from Crystal Palace. So we sold him to Crystal Palace. He never really got in their team. He's gone to Crewe and looks like he's finally broken into the team at Crewe, but still averaging Connor Roberts style averages. What an unusual career that boy's had. And then Renan on the right-hand side, who's at Reading and not really playing regularly for them. It really shows how poor some of these players were, who we were still starting regularly in the Premier League. They were overperforming massively for us. And there's Tommy Jessop's retirement confirmed. Did we already know that? I feel like he hadn't retired this time last year. After never really making it at Hull, Tommy Jessop has now retired at the age of 29. What a waste. Right, what else have we got going on? We've done the season review. We've looked back at former players. What's Mrs Wearmouth looking for the next 5 years? Is there anything new that she's adding to this? I don't think so. So within 5 years, she just wants us to carry on staying in the Premier League. She's happy with us to fight bravely against relegation again. I guess the size of the club we're at, just staying in the Premier League forever is an achievement, but we've got grander plans than that. We want to eventually be making our way into Europe, be winning this league. I'm optimistic I am optimistic we can avoid a fight. Is that really all what you're targeting? We'll do well to stay up and you'll know it. We've finished top half 2 years in a row, but fine. Let's just... These talks are so dumb. 3 years in the Premier League, we're a comfortable top half team with all these fantastic young players, and I still have to say we're probably going to get relegated, or else everyone gets a grumpy on. And that's the expected best 11 for next year. I'd be surprised if Bayer was in it. It's interesting to see Bayer is considered better than Sebastião, who looked good towards the end of the season and has certainly played a lot more games than us. Loy making it in as well. No place for Abagai, our English Wonderkid centre-back, within there. Certainly, he's a good backup for all 5 of those positions, though. Can play comfortably anywhere across the back 4 or in defensive midfield. Our natural libero. And Alex Williams still there in goal with his 3.5-star current ability. Apparently isn't good enough for the Premier League. Who knows? Right, we're off to USA on our pre-season tour. We don't care about fringe players leaving, and there's your confirmation. We already knew this. There's your confirmation that Jørn Andersen has won the Premier League Young Player of the Year award. That's him as a centre-back. What a special boy. 2 caps for Norway now. He's only officially he's our 4th best right back. He's our 3rd best centre-back, according to Star Ratings. He only played about half the season, but it is the first time he's properly broken into the team. And of course, he has now got his homegrown at club status, but apparently still needs a work permit. Interesting. I guess in 2 years' time, he can take English nationality. It'll be interesting to see if players like Jørn Andersen take that English nationality when it's offered to them, or when it's available to them, because we are now hitting the limit of our maximum number of foreign players in the squad. So although someone like Andersen is homegrown in England, homegrown in squad, which is fine for Europe, when it comes to the Premier League squad, he will still count towards the 17 foreign players that were allowed until he gets an English passport. I don't know if there's anybody a little bit closer to being able to pick up an English passport than him. He's likely to be the longest serving foreign player active in the first team squad now. In fact, Costabile must have been here even longer. He's now... So he can, in less than a year, Costabile could take an English passport. That might be the thing that saves Roberto Costabile's home career, if he can get that English passport. Likewise, Ali Basic is very close as well. Ali Basic has got 87 days remaining. So we should find out in this video, will Enes Alabasic take an English passport and therefore reduce the number of foreign players in the squad? That would be awesome if he did, and he becomes even more of a hero if he does that, because this is the year he moves back into midfield and officially becomes a midfielder, which we all knew he was anyway. We were all only joking, saying he was a striker. He was officially a striker when he signed. The game now calls him a tireless midfielder, though, and we know he is a midfielder. He's going to be in our midfield next year, and hopefully he'll be doing it as an Englishman. I was only kidding when I asked her for all this money to spend. I think Mrs Wearmouth took me seriously. We've already spent £70 million. She's given me another £55 million to spend. Oh, we're going nuts this summer, boys and girls. And here we have the confirmation we have moved back into the new home of football. 19,887 capacity for the newly renovated ground that we've only ever played in for 1 season previously, but fingers crossed, being back there now with exceptionals and state-of-the-arts and tops everywhere. We are in the best shape we could possibly be off the pitch. I don't think there's actually anything we can add. There isn't. We are completely maxed out off the pitch. This is good. Also good. Hippolyte. Michael Hippolyte won Championship Player of the Year. Not Championship Player of the Year, Championship Young Player of the Year, or EFL Young Player of the Year, for his performances at Barnsley in the first half of the season. He was back. We called him back in January and played him a couple of times towards the end of the year. But just on that half season of performances, EFL Young Player of the Year. So we've got someone with a very bright future there. Already 3-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. He might well be our right back going forward. Perisato moving to left back. Hippolyte at right back because he's much more attacking than Gillespie. Gillespie's obviously still here as well. We have got a lot of very, very good defenders at this football club. It's all very exciting. The first Wonderkid of the summer is in, boys and girls. He has arrived. Lalo Villalobos. He's gone up to 4.5 stars. He's a 4.5-star current ability striker at 18 years old, 5-star potential. Obviously, much better than any other striker we've ever had anywhere near this football club. We have our difference maker, but he's already got a negative. Devastated to have missed out on the Mexico tournament squad. The World Cup is this summer. He's not going to the World Cup. Maybe he would have gone if he'd have signed for us a little earlier. There's plenty of time, Lalo. You will go to future World Cups. confirmation he is a Wonderkid. He's not the next anybody. He's the first Lalo Villalobos. People are telling me it should be Villalobos or some. I can't do the whole thing instead of he's Villalobos. If you don't like it, you can always read a book, can't you? Books are good. Books are educational. He's Villalobos. What else is going on? Anyone else in? I don't know who Nick Dent Jelfs is. He's 5-star potential, so no, he's not going anywhere. All we need to know is he's got 5-star potential. Dylan Morrison Lawrence, 4-star potential. Filth, but we'll keep him around for a little while because he's only 16. Cardona confirming he's now homegrown. And that will all do for now. There's no other superstars who've turned up on my scouting yet, by the way. We've got all this money that Mrs Wearmouth has given me after I jokingly asked for it, didn't expect her to give it to me. I don't actually know that we've got anyone to spend it on. I mean, this guy, potentially, but he's another fairly little, 5'10", Brazilian, tippy-tappy, Arsenal-style player. He's in the same mould as Oliveira and Christensen. He's potentially as good as both, better than both, maybe not as good as either. He's only 60% scouted at the moment. We absolutely don't need him, but he's the best player, current ability-wise, who we've currently got scouted. So we'll keep an eye on him. Who wants this guy? Inter Milan? That means I'm in for him. Forget that guy we were just talking about. If Inter are in for this guy, he's 100% scouted. Is he a right winger? We could kind of use a right winger. He's got a £12 million release clause. Hello. We'll have a bit of that. I haven't even looked at anything to do with his attributes yet, but I've already got all the information I need. Now let's go and look at him if he's any good. Decent first touch. He's quick. He's a decent crosser. He's still young. He can play as an attacking midfielder, but won't. He'll play out wide for us. He looks like he's definitely someone we're going to look to bring in. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Well, there you go. We've already found one extra player just by having this chat. It was all worthwhile. So Diego Perez is in, 3-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. Let's send him away on a language course. £12 million, Bolivian international, 4 caps already. He's an attacking midfielder, but we're going to be using him as a winger, as a right midfielder or as a right winger. He is the best we've got at the club as a natural in that role. We've got Ali Bassett, we've got Oliveira who can play there, Bayer can play there, Christian can play there. You know how it's been for us this season. Wally played there for a lot of the second half of the season, but I think Perez is likely to be a starter in that role. We've also got another player we're trying to sneak through quickly before his birthday, Zoran Jukatic. His birthday is on the 1st of July. He's going to need a work permit. We've got 8 days to get this deal through. He's a 2.5-star current ability, 5-star potential, right back from Red Star. The main reason I'm interested in him, Inter are in for him again. We're using Inter scouts. Yeah, I'm a monster. If Inter want someone, Home probably want them too. If you're wondering where Gregoire is, because he's 17, I think we've got to wait for his 18th birthday before he's allowed to sign. His 18th birthday is the 30th of July, so he'll be in on the 30th of July. But hopefully we can get Jukatic in before then as well. I don't know who this guy is. Probably should. 5-star potential. Came through our youth system, been out on loan at Leamington. I feel like he probably gets a new contract. I think we might need to have a little look through our development centre and work out just how many of these 5-star potential youngsters we've got knocking around, because we seem to have formed quite the collection, both from bringing them in and from our own youth system, just churning them out. So Volnek is very close to first team. He's still showing as 5-star potential after we brought him in from Luton last summer. And we've got Michael Oliver, who's a young striker, only 4-star potential. Now, realistically, he's probably never going to make it. But Ignacio Bueno probably will. 5-star potential, or I say probably will, might do. Probably needs some game time, maybe loan him out. And Martinez, remember that goalkeeper we signed a few years back? We could potentially let Jack Green go this summer. Let Tristan McDonald go back out on loan for more game time, and Josu Martinez could sit on our bench for the season because he's just about ready to step up and do some first team squad stuff. It's exciting times here at home. We managed to get Jukatic in before his birthday, so Zoran Jukatic is in as another right back for us. 2.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential apparently. Not quite as good as Hippolyte, so maybe not quite as good a signing as the previous two, but you roll the dice sometimes. We had to rush with him. We're trying to get rid of some of our fringe players, so we'll try and persuade them to just get out. I don't want you here. Get out, all of you. We've got too many players. We've got far too many players at the moment. So we're going to try and get rid of this lot. And we're trying to get rid of McCartan and Costabile. We just had a loan offer for Costabile. Bearing in mind, he got, was it 16 Premier League goals in our first season in the Premier League? We got a loan offer from Cheltenham in the National League North. Something very odd is going on at the moment. It's very weird coming back on the 6th of July rather than the 1st, but the 1st of July doesn't really mean anything to us anymore. Now we don't bring in a load of free transfers, but Tristan McDonald is back. We've got interest from Forest to take him on loan for another season. So I figured now would be a good time to just run a comparison against Alex Williams, just to show you what we're dealing with here. So McDonald still showing his 5-star potential compared to 3.5-star maxed out potential for Williams, 2.5-star potential for Green, 4-star potential for Martinez. So he's the highest potential goalkeeper we've got at the club. So definitely the one with the most upside. But he is still only 21. He's a regular England under-21 international, valued at 10.5 million. And now we're going to compare him with Alex Williams so that we can see what we're dealing with. So you can see at the moment, Alex Williams significantly better at the key goalkeeping stats. Although McDonald, little bit better physically, little bit quicker, more eccentric, which is a little bit of a worry, and has better communication. But Williams has the edge on everything else. If we do it by attributes as well, you can see that in all those key goalkeeping attributes, it is Williams who is still edging things. For the purpose of the Jack Green fan club, we'll also compare McDonald against Jack Green so that you can see how he compares against him if I get the right buttons pressed. So there's your overview of Green against McDonald. So at the moment, Green still edging it slightly over McDonald. Am I going to have to do Green against Williams? I'm probably going to have to. But yeah, so Green is fine to be our backup goalkeeper still. McDonald is going to go out on loan for another season to try and help improve him and just keep everybody calm about these two. Here's your comparison once again between Williams in blue and Green in green. And you can see that Williams is better at everything apart from being tall. And you can't teach that. There it is in terms of attributes as well. So Williams remains first team goalkeeper for this season. Jack Green can stick around for another year and sit on the bench, which he seems very happy to do. And Tristan McDonald can go out on loan once again, try and get some more game time into him, hopefully get somebody to pay all of his wages as well and continue his development. It'd be nice to get him a Premier League club. That would be ideal. Right, we've got confirmation of the boys who are returning for the Harrison Davies testimonial. And I love the fact that it's mostly his former defensive partners. So Shay Charles, Alec Lay, Matty Brewerton, for some reason Mackenzie Fulton, and Andy Hall, all coming back to play in the testimonial against Paris Saint-Germain. It's actually one of two games against Paris Saint-Germain we've got this summer. We're also facing them with our first team in the Wearmouth Cup, starting and ending the summer with PSG games. But for now, we've got some of our old boys coming back, and I love the fact that we're going to be able to play old school defences. We can have a back four of Andy Hall, Shay Charles, Sir Harrison Davies and Matty Brewerton with Alec Lay coming off the bench, and it's going to be delightful. Can you imagine what Paris Saint-Germain are going to do to that? Right, I'll level with you folks. I've ballsed this up. I forgot to set it so that I took control of friendly matches. I hope you'll forgive me for what's about to happen. For the first time ever, I'm reloading because it's Harrison Davies' testimonial. He didn't even start in it. I'm not having it. We're going to reload. I'm not quite sure how far back this is going to take us. Do you want to? No, I don't want to save the game. We're going to reload. Fingers crossed. We're going to be okay. And I don't know how far back this is going. So if it changes anything else, that's a potential problem. We should have saved it as a separate file before doing this. Maybe haven't thought this through fully. We'll be fine. Feels like it's taken longer than any game has ever taken to load. I'd love it if it just rejects it and says, yeah, you can't do this, you filthy cheat. Is it actually going to fail reloading? If anything, this would be an appropriate place for the save to end. All integrity's gone at this point. They're oh my word, the Football Manager purists are going to be like, Kev, No, you reloaded. I'm done. If that is you, thank you for watching. I'll see you hopefully in the Bourne series and for whatever comes next. We've not actually gone back very far at all. 6 days. I don't think we'd made any transfers. I think we're good. What I will do is make sure that I take control of friendly matches, confirm that, and we will play Harrison Davies' testimonial. The one thing that might change, I guess, is the players who come back for it. We might not be able to do that perfect back four anymore, which would be a real shame. But at least we're going to get to see the match now, which is what we're all here for today, after all. Well, things have come together beautifully in the end, because it's mostly the same players, but instead of Mackenzie Fulton, we've got Renan. That couldn't have gone any... He's on the transfer list at Reading. Couldn't have gone any better. Renan is going to be back for one game only against Paris Saint-Germain. Here we go then, folks. This is a real thing of beauty. I'm loving this. Testimonials should happen much more often. But for the game against Paris Saint-Germain, the Harrison Davies testimonial, the Sir Harrison Davies testimonial. Has Alec Lane not got a club? He's not close to fit. Come on, Charlton, sort your lives out. We've got Alex Williams in goal, a back four of Andy Hall, Sir Harrison Davies, Shay Charles and Matty Brewerton. It is straight out of the National League, and I love it. Abagai's going to sit in front of them to, you know, there needs to be a defender in the team. And then Lay and Ali Basic in midfield. Yeah, Ali Basic playing in midfield now. That's where he rolls, our new Mazzala. Richardson is going to play on the left-hand side, but not as an inside forward. I don't know why he was set as an inside forward. And then Renan is going to play on the right-hand side. Beautiful. A new boy, Villalobos, is going to wonder what on earth he's let himself in for with all of the players that are playing behind him. we need to explain to him that this is not how it will normally be. So Harrison Davies will be given the captain's armband for his testimonial match. Well, he's the captain anyway. He's given the captain's armband every time he's on the pitch. But my word, am I desperate for a Sir Harrison Davies goal against Paris Saint-Germain. I hope they go easy on us. Their front three looks... I don't know who Alexander Willems is, but Kai Havertz and Ansu Fati are players I'm familiar with. They've actually got Jesus on the bench and Kylian Mbappe. So they've got Donnarumma on the bench. This is quite a good Paris Saint-Germain side, isn't it? But we're quite a good home side. Look at that back four. It's beautiful. It's back together one more time. Tears in the eyes for everybody. He's got his boys back with him. It's wonderful. And let's see just how bad this defence is likely to be. Matty Brewerton struggling to track back there for some reason. But Shay Charles has their striker covered because he's Shay Charles, and that's what he does. Didn't we just discuss that Shay Charles is... Oh, no, it's not Shay Charles. It's Campbell who's off playing in the MLS, isn't it? Shay Charles is just plugging away down in League One, if I remember rightly. Renan has already given everything. You're staying on till half-time, Renan, for goodness sake. We're trying to have some nostalgia here. We're not taking you off this early. And let's face it, it doesn't matter if we break you. You're not ours anymore. We can break all of the trialists. Shay Charles with a header forward to Ali Basic. It's worlds colliding here. It's wonderful. Charles again getting in there. He's given the ball away there because he's Shay Charles. Williams tries to get him out of trouble but can't. And I mean, this is just like a fancier named version of Alex Williams in goal. Alexander Willems. It's basically the same name. It was Alexander Willems versus Alexander Williams. And yeah, well... And we're going to leave Renan on. I'm going to leave Renan and Lay both shattered. They're both staying on until half-time. We will, in the second half, have something a little bit more resembling a proper home side. And remember, we play Paris Saint-Germain again in the Wearmouth Cup a little bit later in the summer. So if we do get absolutely humiliated today, we do have time to make up for it. It shouldn't ruin morale too much. Ali Basic trying to get under the free kick from Richardson. Two actual first teamers combining there. It is good old Matty Brewerton playing the ball forward, looking for Alec Lay, but can't find him. Villalobos has been very quiet so far. Abagai showing why he's got a future as our defensive midfielder. Some good work from him there. Dispossessing Ansu Fati, but they've got him behind Charles again here. This time Williams does make the save though, and Hall clears it. As far as I think it was Abagai he found there, and we've managed to keep it to 1-0 at half-time, which is pretty impressive stuff. This is our very first friendly, so we do need to make a lot of changes. The only player likely to play 90 minutes is Harrison Davies, but we're going to take off the two boys who are absolutely broken. Kieran Hodgkinson coming on to play with his old buddy. Oliveira is going to come on the right-hand side as well. Where's Nathan Curry? Nathan Curry's not even on the bench. Did they have a falling out that I never knew about? At least Kieran Hodgkinson is on for some game time and to be part of this momentous occasion. The new home of football doesn't look as full as it could have been for our one and only club legend, apart from me, of course. This is the last time, potentially, you'll see these two club legends together. I keep talking as if Davies is definitely going. He's asked to leave lots of times. We've calmed him down lots of times. So he's not currently asking to leave. He's not on the transfer list. We're not actively trying to sell him. He's not out of contract. There's every chance Harrison Davies will still be here for the rest of his career. We're not forcing him out. I would never force him out. But there is going to come a time, potentially, where he asks to leave. I try and calm him down. And he's like, actually, you know what? I really do want to go. And I'm certainly never going to stand in his way. So he's got a slot in our first team squad for the rest of his life. He can do a good mentoring role. He can carry on as club captain. His leadership is invaluable. He's never likely to play regularly in the Premier League again. In fact, there's every chance he won't even be in the Premier League squad. But he could get cup games here and there potentially. And if he's still here when we get into Europe, you know full well he's playing a game in Europe for us. It's Fatty versus Williams. It's now 3-0 to PSG. It's almost as if this is our conference defence. But 8 years later, when they're all old and slow, it's I'm surprised they've only scored 3 times so far. We are going to make some more changes on the hour mark and really get some fresh faces onto this pitch, because there's likely to be some very tired legs. We're going to take off all of his buddies now. We're going to bring on some proper players for the rest of the match. So Fazekas is going to come on to play alongside Davies. We're going to bring Perisato on. Who have we got to come on to play left back? Abagai can drop back and play left back. And then we can play Pesotti at the base of the midfield. Lay and Renan have already come off. Is there anyone else who's tiring? In fact, should we just take everybody off now? Wally can come off. We'll take off Villalobos. He can come off for Bayer. We may as well give Tristan McDonald a run out against Paris Saint-Germain. Do we have anyone who can play left back? Perisato can play left back. So Jörn Anderson can come on for Abagai and Perisato can go there. Fazekas can go out to right back and Anderson can play alongside. So Kenlin Richardson needs to come off as well. Lukinas can come on and play on that right-hand side as an inside forward. We've now changed the entire team. Sam Gillespie and Jose Zapata are still on the bench. Everyone else is changed. Sir Harrison Davies is still on, and we still have the potential dream of Sir Harrison Davies grabbing a goal against Paris Saint-Germain, albeit in a friendly. It doesn't matter. He's lurking. There he is, and it's disallowed. If that referee had a soul, you just don't disallow that goal. How can it be offside with a goal from a corner anyway? I mean, Pesotti's lurking all over the goalkeeper, but if there's any romance left in football, that goal stands, and Harrison Davies just scored against Paris Saint-Germain. The man who started out with us down in Tier 8, 14 seasons ago now? He's now approaching the end of his career, and he just scored against Paris Saint-Germain, and some jerk of a referee thinks it's okay to say, no, actually, that doesn't count. What a tool. We're never having him back. He's never refereeing another friendly of ours ever again. What a moron. Right. Ansu Fati is quite good at football, as we're seeing here. He can dance past all of our defenders. We've got the first team ones on now. Not necessarily in a formation and an arrangement that we'd use them in. I don't know that I've ever played Fazekas at right back before, for example. Perisato's usually a right back and playing at left back. Davies is still in there. But that's Ansu Fati. Probably prime Ansu Fati has just ripped us apart there. And not a lot we can do about that, is there? Fazekas to Oliveira. We'd still love the Harrison Davies one. I'm tempted to put him up front for the final few minutes. Oliveira to Wally. Lukinas does grab a consolation goal. He's the man to score in the Harrison Davies testimonial. And should we put him up front? We're not going to put him up front. We need him to play in his actual position for the remainder of his testimonial. We'd love him to grab a goal, but trying to ask him to play out of position. I don't think in his entire career he's ever been asked to play as a striker. If anyone's wondering why Danny Pritchard hasn't turned up for the testimonial, he retired several years ago now, as I'm sure he would have been back. Those two at set pieces down in non-league were inseparable. So I'm sure he would have been back for his buddy's testimonial. McDonald making the save. I think it's the first time any of us have seen Tristan McDonald play a football match. I don't remember him ever playing for us before. Anderson playing it forward to Oliveira. Oliveira now on the right, playing it back into Passotti, who's just going to sit there in front of that back four the way he does. Wally getting a rare appearance in central midfield alongside Hodgkinson. And Hodgkinson back to Passotti, and Parasato is pushing forward on this left-hand side. I was saying before how he's not a left-back. He probably needs to learn, because we've got so many good right-backs coming through, that I think his future probably is at left-back for us. Oliveira's just grabbed our second. It's now home 2, Paris Saint-Germain 4. Are these bunch of heroes setting us up for a potential late piece of Harrison Davies magic? If it goes to 4-3 and we get a corner, I think we're all going to get a little bit giddy. My boy Gianluigi Donnarumma has come on now. He knows the story. Me and him have been together for a number of Streamer Showdown wins. Donnarumma knows what's what. He knows to let Davies score. Donnarumma knows all about goals from corners as well. So fingers crossed, Harrison Davies has still got a goal from a corner left in him. Davies is he's dominant in the air, even against a team like this. If you just play the ball up in the air to him, he's going to head it back all day long. It's only if you get it on the floor and try and run past him that you realise that he's just not up to it anymore. But play those kind of balls in, he'll just deal with them all day long, no matter what the level of football he's playing at is. Oliveira now on the right, back to Fazekas, who's joining in the attack from the right fullback position, playing across to Passotti, and that could have been a very interesting last 10 minutes if Passotti can keep that on target. We've obviously looked a lot better in this second half, as you would expect, with all the changes we've made to strengthen our team, and presumably PSG have weakened theirs as part of just getting game time into everybody. So I wouldn't read too much into the fact that we've been pretty much even with Paris Saint-Germain in this second half. But it's all set up for Sir Harrison. Oliveira's grabbed his second of the game. He's been very good since coming on, which is a very nice sign. He scored more goals in this game, in the second half of this game against Paris Saint-Germain, than he scored in the whole of last season. And now we just need that dream moment, the Sir Harrison Davies equaliser in the final seconds of the game. That would be, then we know Football Manager understands the romance of football. There is Davies playing it forward to Parasato. Parasato into Kieran Hodgkinson. Hodgkinson to Wally. Back to Hodgkinson again. Hodgkinson fancies a goal for himself, I think. Oliveira playing it into Parasato, who's got all the time in the world to pick his man for a cross here. Cross does come in. There is Hodgkinson, but the header is just over. Really, we should be trying to force it out for a corner. Let's just give us corners for the rest of the game. Just corner after corner after corner to give Davies his goal. He doesn't look like he's going to get it. If that scumbag of a referee had let his one stand, it finishes 4-4. As it is, it's home 3, Paris Saint-Germain 4. No shame in that. And I've said it before, and I'll no doubt say it again. Thank you, Sir Harrison Davies. Oh, boys and girls, so much time has passed, both in reality and in game since the last clip. I'm recording this later than I think I've recorded a YouTube video in a long time. It's 9:30 in the evening. I should be streaming. I've just done the Streamer Showdown draft last night. Didn't manage to get this video finished earlier in the day, but we have finished off our summer transfers for now. And there's a couple of bits I did off camera whilst I was watching the end of the lowdown. Nothing majorly significant. I think we'd already signed Djukic in the last bit. Gregoire is now in, or Gregory. Roland Gregory. He's in, 3-star current ability, 5-star potential. He's a proper Wonderkid as well, so he's in. And we've also cleared a few of the fringe players out. So Adam Blamplate and Stephen Paul have both moved on permanently. James Morgan, this is the guy who was the new Stanley Matthews. He still is labelled the next Stanley Matthews, but he'd already dropped down to 4-star potential. We've got so many good right wingers that when Reading came in with an offer of almost as much as we spent on him last year, it felt a little bit too good to turn around. We've got a 50% sell on as well for him. So if he does turn out to be the next Stanley Matthews, we can buy him back for half price. So I'm not against letting him go for a small loss. Probably shouldn't have brought him in. Quite a few other players have gone out on loan. Some of the more significant ones, in fact, Caetano's gone to Atlanta United until Christmas. Keanu Wand has gone to New England until Christmas. Cameron Little's gone out to Reading for the season. Tristan McDonald's gone to Forest for the season. Darren Collier's gone to Bristol Rovers for the season. Roberto Costabile has left permanently. £5.5 million to French second division side Paris FC. £5.5 million. We've more than doubled our money on this guy. Which, I mean, he had one good season in the Premier League. He has got it in him. He just hasn't had it in him for a while. It's a really odd one. Andrew McCartan's gone on loan to Dundee with a view to a permanent move. He was on the transfer list. No one wanted to give us money for him. So he's gone to play in the SPL. We've also sold Santiago Cardona. This is part of I've decided Harrison Davies is going to stay in the squad. So after all that talk, his testimonial, the big goodbye, he stays in the squad as our 4th choice defender this year. Santiago Cardona had also dropped down to 4-star potential. We were able to spin him up for a little bit of extra money. Thought he was going to be great when he first came in. Spent 3 years not really getting any better though. So he gets to move on. And we've also loaned out Emmanuel Loy. He's gone to Nice for the rest of the season to play on loan in the left-back position for them. So lots of players moving out, lots of money still left in the bank, and no one really that I want to bring in at the moment. If we look at the players who are coming up on our scouting reports, if we sort by current ability, there's nobody better than 3 stars. We could bring this guy in, but do we need him? Probably not. And Real Madrid are going to want an absolute fortune for him. So you look further down the list and we're looking at 2.5-star players, and they're all very similar to what we've got, central midfielders and wingers. We've got loads of this kind of thing. If you sort by scout recommendation, again, we could get another Brazilian attacking midfielder. He's got 93. Sign whatever the price. He's a Brazilian under-20 international. He's the next Zizinho. But we've already got Christian. We've already got t'other fella. Is it Oliveira? Oliveira. Need to learn that. I haven't even learned all their names yet. We just don't need him. So at the moment, I'm happy to sit on my £42 million, safe in the knowledge that because of that, if we get someone like a Gregoire or a Villalobos who appears at Christmas, we can actually bring him in at Christmas. We've only signed 1, 2, 3, 4 of our under-21 foreign players at the moment. So we've got 2 more of them we can bring in, plus all that money. We haven't signed a single English player. There's still lots of business we could do, but it is the first day of the new season. We've got a first-team squad of 26 players, which is probably 1 too many. Bayer could probably still go out on loan, and I don't think we'd miss him too much. But other than that, I think that's a pretty solid first-team squad. And it looks like we're going to be playing an inverted wing-back this year because we don't have a left-back. We got rid of them all. McCartan and Loy have both left. So playing left-back this year will be a rotating cast of Abagai, Perisato, Fazikas, and eventually we'll find a left-back or one of them will make the position their own. It might even end up being Abagai as an inverted left wing-back. That might be his position from now on. Who knows? It does get Jørn Andersen into the middle, which seems like a sensible thing to do. I'm happy. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.